All right, so just to continue, the board is made up of liaisons for each student organization category. So we'll just quickly introduce ourselves. My name's Guri Carnisi. I represent health and wellness organizations.
My name is Josephine Degnan. I represent culture, identity, and religion clubs and organizations.
Hi everyone, my name is Aditi Galande and I look over academic, professional, and graduate clubs.
Hi everybody, my name is Sarah Jadlowski. I am the Civic Engagement Liaison. And then Asad Jamal unfortunately wasn't able to be here tonight, but he's the Special Interest in New Organization Liaison.
And then I'm Christopher Sowards. I represent the sports and recreation clubs at ASU.
And I'm Tessie Bracken, the advisor of the advisory board for student orgs.
So yeah, as you guys can see, a lot of diversity just within this board, a lot of diversity within our student organizations. We have over 800 student organizations, which is absolutely fantastic. And we're here for all of you. So to get things started, we're going to start out with a Zoom poll and then just a little bit of a discussion before our open forum and kind of our tips for the night. So we're going to be asking 3 different questions. The first of which is, what methods have you been using to increase attendance and turnout at your club meetings? And it's a multiple choice. So click as many as you are using. Okay, so we have a majority of people in. Oh, we almost have the entirety. There's one more person who needs to vote. 2 more people now that we have someone who's joined us, which is great. I suppose we'll just launch the results of the poll. So it seems like the most prevalent method that you all have been using is social media presence, followed about equally by Sun Devil Sync, advertising, and collaboration with other student organizations. What I'm really interested in are the 2 people who selected other. Maybe if you want to either speak up or use the chat, you know, what are some other tactics that you've been doing that maybe some other clubs could draw upon? Wait, did I? Okay, so now you can see the poll results. So I suppose if okay. Yeah, so I'll pass off the next questions to CJ. Yeah, if no one else wants to say anything, we'll just keep going.
Hi, this is Zachary Pena.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good. Yeah, so I'm the current president of the Online Business Student Association. One thing that I've been trying to do recently, so we've just been rolling out a lot of events as of recent. I reached out to my club advisor and I explained to him that I wanted a greater online presence and on-campus presence and just a greater reach. So he has about 600 students this semester. And we have an event coming up on November 23rd and then multiple after that. But he's going to be sending those events out to all of his students. So he already sent out one event flyer with the link and he's going to continue doing that. So that's one way that's going to increase attendance to our meetings.
Yeah, that definitely sounds good. Definitely something that other clubs can draw upon, you know, kind of leveraging connections within the university.
Yes. Thank you.
Also, if anyone feels comfortable turning on their camera, we would love to see all of your guys' faces too.
Monthly art contest for the Herbert Institute. I really like that, Amber. I really like that idea. So yes, we can go on to the next question if you're willing. CJ, take it away.
All right, so the next question is up. Once again, it is a select as many as you can. So click as many as you would like to, and that you have done. Looking for about 3 more people. I'll give you all a couple more seconds to finish up the poll. Alrighty, I'm gonna end the poll now and then share results. So what has everyone been doing to increase engagement within their orgs? A lot of people seem to be using icebreakers. That's great. We found that to be very effective. So for those who haven't started using those, if you are in need of any icebreakers, you can always feel free to reach out to anyone in ABSO to ask about examples of icebreakers. Using the breakout room function, about 6 of us have been using that. If you have a smaller organization, breakout rooms aren't necessarily needed, but for large organizations, breakout rooms can be great. So if you've been looking to find ways to engage people on a more individual basis, breakout rooms could be something you could do. Creating a social group chat for active members, another great way. What other platforms have people been using? I'm kind of curious about that other than Zoom. If anyone's willing to answer. I know my club loves to use Discord a lot. We have Among Us games on there all the time. Discord and GroupMe. Okay, awesome. Discord. Okay, Discord seems to be a big one. And if you guys haven't yet joined our Discord server, we have an ABSO Discord server that people can join and ask us questions very quickly there. And it's a great way to make it a less formal setting for people to communicate with each other. So if you don't know what Discord is, or if you haven't heard of it, Discord, great place to start engaging with your members. And then we're going to go to our final poll. It's a single answer poll, so click one and submit. What are the main issues your student organization is facing currently? Looking for about 3 more people to vote. Give you guys a couple more seconds. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. 6 people said recruiting new members, 7 said engagement and participation among members, low member turnouts at meetings and planning and hosting digital events being 1. So let me share those. Forgot to click the button. There we go. So a lot of what we're going to talk about today in this town hall is to help address the recruiting new members and engagement and participation among members. At our first town hall, those were the 2 things that we noticed a lot of people had a lot of questions about. So this is what that town hall is going to address. And then we'll continue to address it all throughout next semester as well, because we're going to be having classes through ASU Sync as well. So if you guys ever need, after this event, if you ever need help, feel free to pop into our office hours, send any of us messages. This is stuff that we're all going through and we're all going to be here together. So I'm going to pass it off if there aren't any other questions to the next member of APSO.
Awesome. All right, you guys. So obviously, as we saw from the poll, engagement and participation among members is the biggest issue right now, to be expected. So these are some ideas that we've come up with and that you guys are already aware of, but it just kind of goes more into detail on how you can actually implement them. So starting out with icebreakers, which icebreakers are done by most clubs around campus from what I can tell, but the questions are everything. And so you want them to be personal but lighthearted so you can get to know your members while at the same time keeping the feeling and vibe of the meeting comfortable and casual. So these are a couple of ideas, like what's your anti-major? So the major that you would absolutely hate, or describing your personality using 1 to 2 ice cream flavors. And then also we have a whole list of different icebreakers that you guys can use if you just want to reach out to us. Another way to do it is through breakout rooms. If you don't know how to use breakout rooms, reach out to us or ask us about it during the open forum and we'll go over it with you. We're also going to do a practice breakout room for the icebreakers to kind of show you guys how that looks. And then also, we already kind of talked about this, but social chat. So this goes beyond club meetings and creates more of a community feel. So you guys already use GroupMe and Discord. You're aware of that. Open discussion during meetings is a very, very big one. Having an open forum at some point throughout your meeting is important because it lets your club members feel like they're being heard, and it also lets them raise any concerns, questions, opinions that they may have regarding your club. It's important to remember that these organizations we're a part of reflect our passions. And so normally people have a lot to say about it. And then beyond that, various activities. So it doesn't always have to be about logistics and getting club business done. It can also be about doing things outside of the club. Like the example that Amber said about the art contest is a really, really good example of that sort of thing. Again, if you have any questions, ask us during the open forum or email us and we'll give you some ideas. Thanks.
Yeah, so if anyone has anything that they would like to add, just in terms of engagement, if not, then we can go into breakout rooms just to sample some icebreaker questions. Is that good with everyone? Seeing thumbs up. All right. Then I'll open those. See you in like 5 minutes.
I guess everyone else didn't decide to come back. Hi, everyone. We're just waiting on a few more people to come back, and then we'll continue with the presentation. But I hope that your breakout rooms are great and we all know each other's ice cream flavors. Joey, what's yours?
We actually did the anti-major and then got sidetracked,
Oh,
but I'll get back to you on that one, Sarah.
Greg, I think you're talking, but you're muted.
Thank you for pointing that out. I had launched into this entire spiel, but I was muted. Yes, I hope you guys had very good conversations in your breakout rooms. So next we're going to be talking about presentations, because obviously slideshows and slide decks are one of the primary ways that you're going to be able to get information across to your members right now. You know, even in person, those are already kind of important, but over digital means it almost feels like the presentation is the thing that's important. And so just kind of some general tips when it comes to those is, first and foremost, break away from the Google Slides themes. Those have been tried, they've been used so many times by so many people, and none of them are very fun either. So something that I've really found a lot of success in is going to outside websites and like Slides Carnival, Slides Go, and just getting as many templates as I can and taking from those. This presentation was made from a template from one of those websites. And as you can see, there's a lot more color, there's a lot more expression, and there's a lot more freedom in really kind of how you can convey information. And the bright colors really just kind of help draw people's attention compared to, you know, more monotone grays, blacks, whites. So the second thing is, don't read directly off of your slides. It's very obvious if you're just reading off of slides. And the thing is that your members can also read the slides. So really kind of elaborating on the points and giving them the proper explanation. So something I like to do is use speaker notes. So I have the more vague general information on the slides, but then I also write out exactly what I'm going to say. And then finally, just don't be too wordy on your slides. I typically use improper grammar for like sub headers, sub points. So really just don't feel like you need to type out an entire like essay on that. If anyone else has any other tips on presentations that they'd like to share, definitely feel free to do so right now. Either unmute yourself or do so in the chat.
I have a quick tip. I love doing this. So if I have to share the screen and I'm presenting, I share the screen on just the Safari page or web page, and then I have my notes app up on my laptop, and then I put the whatever I want to say on my notes app, so no one else sees it but me.
Animations and music from Gabby, I like that. Definitely try to splice in, you know, pictures, GIFs, videos, animations, music. Just makes things more lively. Once again, draws attention and keeps that active engagement with that. So thank you very much for sharing that. If no one else has anything else to say, then I will give it off to Sarah to talk about Zoom fatigue.
That's me. Tired of Zoom? Haha. I also want to recognize what Sierra said in the chat here. This is really great. She said that, sorry, I can't do the Zoom button. One obstacle brought up in our breakout rooms, not being able to like feed people or give away items or swag necessarily. So something that Sierra did was look into giving away Domino's coupons for people who have attended her events. I've done something similar. We played Jeopardy a few weeks ago and I Venmo'd the winner $1. And it's, in my opinion, I really think it's the thought that counts, because as other prizes, I've been like, I'll send you a tweet that I personally thought matched your entire personality. So out of the box thinking like that is really the way to not only engage with your members, but provide these fun little alternatives. But getting into Zoom fatigue, I'm sure many of us are tired of Zoom. We are on here for a very long time. So sometimes when you're having your student organization meeting, it's fun to look into alternative ways for you guys to meet, whether that be something silly like having a Kahoot night or playing Among Us, which is free on the iPhone. It's a very popular game right now. There's also other apps right here. I'll send these out in the follow-up email in case any of you guys are interested in pursuing any of these for your meetings, but there's Scriblio, which is essentially Pictionary via the internet. You send like a sign-up link and people are able to hop on and play Pictionary. Quizlet Live, where you can play in teams. This has potential for breakout rooms. Netflix Party via Google Chrome, but Sierra also said earlier in the chat that you can watch movies through Discord. I don't know how to work Discord at all. The only thing that I can do is send the little emoji, that's the dancing bird that lights up. And that's all I know how to do. But then you also have Spotify shared listening session. Either way, these are all different ways to engage with your members and maybe get them more active than just sitting in a chair for another hour of their day. And it makes them excited and want to come back to your guys' things. So yeah, if you guys have any other ones, feel free to drop them in the chat. I would love to hear, because I'm always looking for new ways to not be on Zoom. But yeah, I'm gonna toss it over to the next person. Never mind, it's still me, unless Greg wants to do it. Yeah, we were just gonna open the forum now because we're done with necessarily our tips and tricks for you guys, and we want to hear some of the methods that you guys have used. If any of you feel comfortable coming off mute, maybe sharing some fun club meeting ideas you guys have had, or some things you've used to get people involved. I would love to hear them, and it would be really beneficial for everybody to be sharing these right now so we could all kind of learn from each other.
I can get the floor started. Speaking as president of Active Minds, that's the secondary club I'm representing. Something that I've really made an effort to do in my meetings is allow for like open discussion periods. And sometimes, depending on how many members we get, we use breakout rooms just to split things up. Because the thing about Zoom conversations is when there's like 20 people in one room, it can kind of be difficult to carry out conversations because only one person can really speak and be clearly heard. And so really just allowing a solid like 15, 20, 25 minutes of just discussion, allowing our members to talk about, what's on their mind, sometimes in relation to a specific topic, but other times just what they're thinking about in general and how they're doing in general. Just really opening up the floor and encouraging discussion is something that's really worked well for us in terms of like member engagement, member retention. And yes, like that's something that's been really good for my organization.
Yeah, I'll add on to this. It's kind of the similar thing what Greg was talking about. We do something called shout outs at the beginning of our meetings now, which is essentially like it's the main organization. It's like it's open up to everybody who's in the main meeting. We don't do breakout rooms, but we just open up just like, hey, is anything cool going on in your lives? Hey, is there something that happened that you really like? So for instance, I remember one time, the first time we did it, this girl, she ended up getting a new puppy. Like she got a puppy like 2 days before the meeting, and she was so excited. And then as soon as she said it, like everyone in the group started talking about it, and that was like the most engagement we had in a while up to that point. So, just giving members time to just, talk about themselves or even shout out somebody else. That's kind of what worked for us.
That's an awesome idea. That's amazing, because then it allows other like people to be involved in that moment in your life, and that's I have no words other than that's really cool. Yeah, if anybody else wants to share any other things that they've maybe implemented into their meetings that has really increased engagement, or some things that they found. A fun trick that I have personally found is that when you open breakout rooms at the beginning of a meeting, if you have the capacity to do that and enough people turn on their cameras when they're in the small breakout rooms, and then when they come back to the larger room, they feel a little more comfortable with the people they were just talking to, and they might feel a little more comfortable with the large group, so they keep their cameras on for the rest of the meeting.
Yeah, and if, you know, you don't necessarily like have something that's been working well, definitely also feel free to use this time and this space to talk about, you know, maybe where your club is struggling or specific concerns you have in regards to kind of anything we've gone over tonight. This definitely does not have to be a space to just talk about success, but also shortcomings, because we should acknowledge both of them.
Hi, this is Zachary Penny
sorry.
again.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I'll be really quick. With the OPSA, the Online Business Student Association, and we've been seeing an increasement in member engagement. I became the president in September, so I'm pretty new to this position. But we've been implementing more events every month, so water cooler / coffee chats to kind of replace the in-person meetings. We have Slack channels, Google Drive, so people can share study resources. We're very explicit about not sharing answers to questions or tests, but being able to connect that way. And if someone can share notes from a previous class, that's very helpful. And I've seen fluctuations in the engagement. So some people seem to attend more of the exciting events. So I've been doing in-house workshops. We've actually been able to shift those workshops to out-house by partnering with a lot of companies in Arizona and nationwide. So we currently have 22 companies that we've invited to speak to our members, and all of WP Carey School of Business, booked out all the way through middle of March. And they're willing to come back and do workshops as well. So industry overviews, and then what positions are available, next steps for applicants to apply. And we've also been able to shift some of the costs there. So they'll be providing gift cards and raffles and giveaways. But one thing that I've noticed is trying to get more members to respond to polling questions so we can better gauge what times are best for them. And also getting more members to open the monthly newsletter, because I can see those data metrics in MailChimp, and they have been going down a little more frequently. And I know the content is excellent. I have a vice president of marketing who works with Canva and sends the most beautiful newsletters I've ever seen. So I know that the value is there and the content quality. So I was wondering if you have any advice for getting more members to respond to these polling questions and open the newsletter more frequently.
So I think, just going like kind of based off of my own experiences, really what you should do, or what I would do potentially, is first off, plug the newsletter at every opportunity you get. So be that at meetings, over social media, just any way that you can plug it. So that way it is within your members' like minds. And if they see it, they know what it is and they know to click on it. Additionally, what you could maybe do, finances permitting, is have some sort of like incentive for opening the newsletter and engaging with it. Be that, you know, being entered into a giveaway for a gift card or some sort of prize or swag, or something like the first 10 people who open the newsletter get X thing. So really just plugging it every opportunity you can get to keep it fresh in your members' minds, as well as also having some sort of incentive for doing so. If anyone else has any additional input, I would love to hear it.
So I actually,
Thank you, Graham.
the newsletters for this, like the student organization newsletters. So if you get those are me. And something I've noticed that does increase like clicks and like people who actually scroll through is sending it more frequently with less information. So sometimes, like if you're sending it once a month, you're going to be overloading them with a bunch of updates and events that are coming up. Whereas like I've started sending them weekly. They're still a little long, but at least like I can get them down to like 6 or 7 or so really hot button events that are coming up, or like topics or like discussions that are happening on campus that'll actually like get people's attention and they don't feel overwhelmed by the length of the newsletter. So that's something that has increased some of the clickbait for me.
Excellent. Thank you.
Welcome.
All very helpful.
Also, really fast, I think clickbait subject lines work really well. Have a really catchy subject line like limited opportunity for business students, due this Friday, something like that, you know, that a lot of people are really interested in and that you can highlight in your newsletter. Another thing Tessie mentioned in the chat, that Greg mentioned the gift cards that you could do in giveaways, and Tessie said that you have USG funds that you can use to buy bookstore gift cards. So you can always use that to incentivize your members as well.
Excellent. Thank you. I'll be sure to implement all of these.
Does anyone else have anything that they want to discuss, or are you guys ready to move on? Just let us know.
There's just one thing that I want to plug real quick, and it sounds dumb to need to say this, but it's important regardless. Whenever you're having Zoom meetings, I would just encourage you all to take your agenda a little bit more seriously than you maybe have for some in-person meetings, because you're not going to have the body language and that kind of stuff to read via Zoom. So it's really important that you have a tight agenda to know exactly how that's going to flow, and to assign other people on your team to take over different aspects of the meeting. So like, for example, today, the advisory board has assigned Greg to be the host of the meeting. So he's sharing his screen, played the music, all of that kind of stuff. And then they each took their individual slides to talk about. So sometimes it's just like knowing exactly how the meeting is going to be structured makes it a lot more digestible for the other attendees to the meeting, and then just makes it a lot more organized and easier to comprehend. So agendas are super important. And I just went to a professional development seminar a few weeks ago about Zoom fatigue, and they said agendas are like the thing that people forget about. So just to let you all know, agendas are important. And if you don't know how to write a really good agenda, or it doesn't need to be that thorough, but if you don't know like where to start, feel free to reach out to any one of us and we can certainly help you with that too.
Here's what I'll say in regards to that. And maybe it's a little bit of heresy. So for my meetings, I don't exactly make agendas so much as I make slide decks. And so the slide deck has just the general layout of the meeting. So a meeting opening, some slides on educational content, a slide opening up discussion and giving some discussion questions, and then just some housekeeping information like upcoming events, initiatives that we're doing. So when it comes to making agendas, I think making a professional agenda can be big and scary. And it feels like it requires a lot of organization that some people might not necessarily feel they have. So definitely don't feel pressured to make an agenda in the strict sense of the word, so long as you have some sort of outline about how your meeting is going to be conducted and a plan as to how you're going to conduct it.
All right, are we ready to move on?
I actually have one more quick question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have onboarded a VP of marketing at the same time that I became president. My vice president of technology and vice president of finance have stepped down in the past couple of weeks because they'll be graduating soon. So I was wondering what ideas you have for sparking more interest to get more applicants for those positions, as well as I'm going to be creating a few new roles because we're growing very rapidly and quickly. What advice do you have for really getting people interested in applying for those positions?
Well, if I can just start, I think, Zachary, one thing that you could do is you could have Tessie submit something in the student organization's newsletter explaining that new roles are opening up for this club, and that'll automatically attract a lot of kids who see the newsletter, because that's a very pretty headline, the opportunity to become
Yeah,
so.
definitely. Yes, I would love if you would be able to do that, Tessie. I can discuss the details further with you at a later point.
Absolutely. Something that I would recommend that has worked for me, because I got this beautiful advisory board. They don't know that I did this, but individual outreach to certain people within your organization that you think would be good. I think just getting that individual outreach from you makes them feel appreciated. But then we'll also get them thinking do I really want to do this? This person sees that I have some potential in this organization. I'm getting excited about this now. So individual outreach goes a long way. And if you don't have people within your organization that you think would be good fits, maybe look into the Business Finance Association and see if there are students in there that might be interested in taking on a treasurer role within. Contact their advisor and see if they have any recommendations for people that would want to be a part of your organization. That kind of stuff. I'm a big advocate for individual outreach touch points.
Excellent, thank you.
Something that has worked for me in this sense is talking about how it can help build a resume. I know that resume builders are kind of duds to people, but really digging deep into what you can put underneath whatever role they take on the resume is big. So for a lot of things, there's very specific highlighted training that you have to do, especially for organizations and leadership roles. They can talk about those trainings and what they learned from them and how it helped build them towards this. And in the work environment and in adult life, I mean, my mom has 3 different trainings a week because her company switches things so much. Being able to say I did this training, and I use those trainings and improve the efficiency, or however my job was supposed to be laid out, I helped improve it based on what I learned. Those are ways that you can help convince people is, it's experience, it's a resume builder, and it all in all, it's just a good way to be more involved and prepare yourself better for the future.
Mm-hmm. If I can add
thank you, Chris,
on this, kind of to add on to what Tessie said, something that's really worked for me is I drew upon my personal network. And I swear it's not nepotism, but typically like-minded people find one another naturally. And I find that a lot of my friends have the same passions and about the same amount of experience when it comes to leadership as I do. And so it's very easy for me to reach out to one of my friends and be like, hey, do you want to help me in this position? And it really kind of eases cooperation and working together, especially when you can have both these casual friend conversations, but then also have these conversations about, okay, what are we doing going forward? So that's something that's really worked for me, and really just kind of advertising open positions as much as possible. Really just letting people know that there are positions that are open and that we are looking for people to fill them. So maybe take a solid 2 meetings to I don't necessarily know how often your club meets. My club meets weekly. So for a solid 2-3 meetings, we just advertised that we had officer positions open. So people constantly knew that they were open. So I'd say those are two things
excellent
that
idea.
definitely work for me.
Yes, thank you, Greg.
Yeah, thank you for asking. Does anyone else have anything they'd just like to bring up? Any questions they'd like to ask?
I love using the Honors Digest. It's a very good tool to reach out. It doesn't matter if you are a Barrett student or if you're a Barrett organization. There are a lot of students and they do get a lot of traffic. If you just search up ASU Barrett Honors Digest submission form, you can easily find it. And it's a great tool to use for events or application openings and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. Taking advantage of university newsletters is also a very effective way to get your message out there. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to say? Going once, twice, 3 times? Sold.
So as we wrap up, we want to plug in our social media. And if you guys are on Instagram, we do have an Instagram, and that is our Instagram handle. And if you send us your pictures of your Zoom meetings or of any in-person meetings that you may have or events, we would love to feature you guys on our Instagram. You can just DM us or you can email us, whatever works for you. And as CJ mentioned before, we have a Discord too. You can use the invite code there, or you can use a QR code, and then that will take you directly to our Discord page. And we also have a feedback survey for this event. So we will be putting in the feedback survey link in the group, in the chat right now. And if you guys fill it out, you will have the chance to win $25 for the bookstore. And we will be sending it out in an email after this meeting with some tips and tricks that we have talked about and some of the tips that you guys have talked about. And we'll include the form in that as well.
Yeah, so these are just our emails. If any of you want to reach out to any of us specifically. I know we cover a lot of different organizational categories. So if your organization is in a specific category and you want to contact your specific liaison, definitely take this time, either screenshot the screen or take a picture. We'll also have these in the email that we're sending out. They'll be available, essentially. So just give a second. And yeah, thank you guys very much for coming. If you haven't already, please fill out the RSVP form. CJ just linked it in the chat, so please take the time to fill that out. You can win free money. Who doesn't like free money? So yes, thank you guys very much for coming. Have a good night and stay safe, everyone.
Thank you for hosting this. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Where's the send-off music, Greg?
That was great, everybody.
I didn't have it on deck. Good job.